My boyfriend, let's call him Isaac, has his own podcast. It's finally starting to blow up a little. Due to privacy and me quite literally being on a few of the episodes, I'm not naming the talk show/podcast. He's nowhere near famous, but he's finally starting to be recognized. I used to be the main co-host, but I've been too busy with work lately to be overly active on the show. Obviously, you can't have a podcast with one person. That's kind of boring. So Isaac told me he found someone to have as a more constant co-host when I'm not available. I told him that was great and asked him who it was. He told me her name was Abigail and sent me her Instagram. It didn't seem like he was hiding anything, so everything felt fine. But about a week later, we were having dinner with our friend group when Isaac's best friend, Josh, told me in front of everyone that he was surprised about how cool I was with Isaac working with his ex-fling. Let's say my reaction was the complete opposite of cool. I was more upset that Isaac lied to me than anything. Why would he feel the need to lie about something like that? I like to consider myself pretty laid back about these kinds of things. Would I have felt awkward? Yes. But the show is recorded in the apartment that me and Isaac share, and I seriously don't see him cheating on me. We're really serious and have been talking about marriage lately. But the fact that he lied? It's the only red flag he's really shown me, but I just feel really weird about it. When we got home, I made him talk to me about it. About a year before he met me, he met Abigail and had a friends with benefits relationship with her. Apparently he ended things with her because he wanted something more serious, something with labels, and she didn't. Once again, not that disturbing or weird. But he still lied to me. And the way that his best friend said it was almost in awe, like the idea was unbelievable, making me think there's more to the story. I told Isaac I don't feel comfortable with him and Abigail because if he felt the need to lie to me about working with an ex-fling, it's probably not the best idea. He said he really needed someone who could be a constant co-host on the show if I couldn't, and I said he would just have to find someone else because I was not comfortable with this. I told him maybe I would have been if he didn't lie, but he lost that chance. I kept going far enough to say if he kept talking to her I might have to reconsider our relationship. He eventually agreed, but he's been giving me the silent treatment for the last couple days. Our friend group knows what happened, due to the mid-dinner announcement. It's split 50-50, some of my friends think I should cut him some slack and he didn't mean to lie. They're saying Isaac is a good guy who just didn't want to hurt my feelings, but I have a really bad feeling about this. Now I'm worried I really did overreact. Other things like this have happened before, now that I really think about it. But so many of our friends are saying I'm overreacting over a small mistake and I think they might be right. Now that I think about it, small things like this have happened in the past. But the thing is, I love Isaac. I'm willing to keep trying for him. I just can't get the sick feeling out of my stomach. The friends on my side think I should continue to talk to him about this, but I don't even know what to say at this point. I really need some advice. Edit, for all of the people going straight to breakup, I do want to make it known that I really love this man. We've been dating for 4 years. We have a child, I'm kidding, she's a cat. I understand that ending things might be the only option, but right now I want to focus more on advice than hearing how I should end things. Isaac has been with me during one of the hardest periods of my life, losing my sister. He is strong and kind and in the nicest possible way, an airhead. If breaking up becomes necessary, we'll switch gears. But all I need right now is some brutal honesty and advice on what I should say to him. Edit 2, he does have another job due to the fact that we can't survive off my money and the podcast alone. He works today, and I work tonight. I'll only have an hour to talk to him and I want things to be a lengthy conversation, so I'm going to wait until I'm off on Friday. I don't know what exactly I'll say, yet, but I'll figure it out. Thank you for all the responses and I'll make sure to update. Update 1, August 3rd, 2024. I'm hoping this will reach all of the people that saw and commented on my post. First off, I want to thank you so much. To the ones of you who helped me think of questions to ask him, I cannot thank you enough. I was diagnosed with severe anxiety when I was 10 years old. I spent all morning pacing and had a minor anxiety attack before talking to him. Normally things like this make me burst into tears, no matter how major or minor. But I'm proud to say I held my ground. He brought me coffee this morning, something he almost always does. He's been talking to me more now, but there's still this weird distance between us. He brought me coffee, kissed my forehead, and we ate breakfast together. He told me about work and everything felt so perfect, but I knew deep down it wasn't. That this nagging feeling would never go away if I didn't talk about Abigail. So in the most uncouth way possible, I blurted out, "We need to talk." Isaac tensed and finally nodded, surprising me by saying, "We do." 1 point to anxiety. We talked for around 2 hours. I'm going to summarize our conversation. The first thing I asked was how long they've been in contact. He told me that the way they met was from being in the same psychology class in college and being in a study group. This added up. I know that he's still close with that old study group. Some of the guys in that group are his best friends. Josh being one of them. He told me they've stayed in contact through that group chat, but haven't talked one-on-one until recently. The second thing I asked was why the hell didn't he tell me? I teared up a little asking him and he immediately started profusely apologizing. I told him that it hurt to hear it from Josh and not him. He said, and I quote, I didn't think it was a big deal. I know it's stupid, but I just didn't think about it. He told me that they aren't the best of friends and she just seemed like a good replacement for me until I could be more active again. I asked why he wanted her and why she was the first thought, and he explained how he wanted to do more topics revolving around college life/classes and study tactics, and she would be a good person to do that with since she was a part of his life during that stage. He told me that he loves me and he never meant to hurt me. He admitted that he knew it might make me uncomfortable, so he chose not to tell me because he knows how much I tend to spiral due to my anxiety. I got frustrated and told him that wasn't his choice to make. He agreed with me and told me he was sorry and he won't do it again. He added that Abigail will never have to come on the podcast, and he never wants to purposefully make me uncomfortable. I agreed, saying I didn't want her on the podcast. Then the tables turned a little. I thought this was going so great, we were in agreement and everything seemed fine. I had a little bit of closure and he seemed content. But then he asked me something I couldn't have guessed. There's something else. She sent me nudes. What the fuck? I felt my heart break a little and asked how he responded. He showed me the messages. They were 2 fucking days old. He responded with a single message: I'm flattered, but I have a girlfriend. Yet he didn't block her. I demanded he cut contact with her and he argued, saying it would make it awkward for his friend group. I argued that I was his fucking girlfriend and yeah, the situation was awkward. I asked him how he would react if Josh sent me nudes, and they got to him. He admitted that he'd cut him off and expect me to do the same. He nodded and agreed to block her. I watched him block and delete her contact. I still didn't feel content. He saw those messages 2 days ago and didn't tell me. That was my breaking point. I basically said, maybe honesty isn't as important to you as it is to me, but if one of your friends sent me nudes I would tell you within minutes. I kept going and started crying, and he did too. He kept apologizing and saying that he hadn't brought it up to me because he felt like I was avoiding him and he wanted to wait until he knew I was ready to talk. Which felt like bullshit because he was giving me the silent treatment. I wasn't considering breaking up in my last post, but now? I don't know. I know this wasn't the update you guys wanted, and I promise there will be another one. I told him that I needed space, and I'm someone who's rare to set my boundaries until I'm really upset. He apologized and tried to hold me, but I stepped back. I'm writing this from my best friend's place. I'm over at her house right now staying the night. I told Isaac we can talk again in a couple days, but right now I need to think things through. The thing is, he cried when I started talking about ending things. Isaac doesn't cry. The only time I've ever seen him cry in our entire 4-year-long relationship was when his mom died. He loves me, I know he does. But I feel so lied to. Maybe I'm overreacting, but right now I just feel betrayed. I'm sorry, and I know this wasn't the update you all wanted. But thank you to all of you. If you want to give me advice, please do. I don't know where to go next and I still have questions I want to ask him. I'm okay with answering questions too. I'll try to update if something else happens, good or bad. And if anyone's curious, yes, I brought our cat with me. Update 2, August 27, 2024. Sorry it's been so long since I've posted. A lot has happened, and I'm honestly not sure where to start, but I'll start with this. We broke up. I ended up contacting Abigail. Some comments thought it might be smart, so I reached out to her over Instagram and asked for her side of the story. She had no idea who I was at first. She then seemed very surprised I was contacting her. She realized who I was from the little Isaac told her, but according to her, he said we started dating last month, not 4 years ago. This information really confused me, and I needed to know more. We met up for coffee and she filled me in that they've been hooking up every once in a while, in her words maybe once or twice every 6 months for years. She started crying and hugged me while she apologized, saying she had no idea I had been his girlfriend for so long. So apparently, their FWB relationship never ended and he had been cheating on me the entire time we had been together. She assured me they had been safe and I shouldn't have anything, but in all honesty, I kind of blanked out. I was with this man for 4 years. I don't blame her in the slightest. I think she wants to keep in contact, but right now it's too painful to talk to her. It's not her fault, it's purely Isaac's, but I just can't deal with anything that is remotely connected to him right now. I'm so confused on whether Josh knew this or not, but I feel like he wouldn't have said anything that night at dinner if he did. I'm so sorry this update took so long. I broke up with Isaac over text, classy, I know, and told him my best friend would stop by to collect his things. I also bought our cat, and said that I'd like to keep her. He protested on the breakup, saying we could get couples therapy, but I said there was nothing that could fix 4 years of lying. Right now I'm living with my best friend and we're having some serious girl time. I'm in shreds, but I know that this was for the best and it would have hurt more to stay. Sorry again for the late update and thank you all for your advice. Sorry for the repost. It got taken down and I still want advice and thoughts. Update 3, August 28, 2024. This is the final update. I wasn't even going to write this, but I thought it would be a slightly happier ending for some of you guys, and in all honesty, for me. Josh ended up calling me last night. At first, I didn't answer in fear it was really Isaac trying to contact me through him, but after the third call I did. This guy sounded pissed. The first thing he said was, "Name, I am so fucking sorry." He didn't give me any room to speak before going on this tangent on what a shitty guy Isaac is and how he can't believe he was best friends with a guy like that for so long. He told me that he made a spontaneous stop by at my old apartment, something that wasn't unusual for him, and was confused when he realized I wasn't living there anymore. Isaac admitted to cheating on me, something Josh didn't know, but had suspected. "You guys were right." He said that comment to warn me. Some things I've come to realize is Isaac was possessive. He wouldn't let me hang out with our male friends one-on-one. He was always lurking next to me. Josh told me he alerted our entire friend group of what Isaac did, and while 2 or 3 of the guys took Isaac's side, what the fuck, the rest felt terrible for me. They cut contact with Isaac and those couple guys. Josh told me that if I need anything, he would love for me to ask him, and he apologized again, saying he should have told me earlier when he thought he'd seen the signs, but he never would have assumed Isaac had been carrying this infidelity for so long. So yeah. I guess I could do another update if anything big happens, but this is where I stand. Relevant comments where Op has replied, "What made Josh suspect the cheating?" Oop, last year I was away for a week because me and some friends went to the camping. Apparently he did one of his stop beats to see if Isaac wanted to hang out, and Isaac wouldn't come to the door. Josh thought he heard a female's voice and some noises. Isaac ended up telling him I had been on the phone with him, which is BS because I had no service for that entire camping trip. Oop, when told to hook up with Josh, I already said this to a reply up there, but Josh is the last person I want to see right now. And frankly, I don't want to date anyone. I just found out the man that I wanted to marry has been cheating on me for our entire relationship. I'm probably not going to go back into the dating pool for at least a year, and I'm someone who likes some heavy emotional connection before sleeping with someone. Josh is a great friend, but in all honesty it was hard to just hear his voice over the phone knowing that he was so heavily tied to Isaac. Next story. Dead BFF's mom showed up claiming my husband was the father. The truth was far worse than I could have imagined. I don't even know where to start. The past 6 months have been an absolute clusterfuck, and it only seems to be getting worse. My best friend since elementary school, who I'll call Alice, passed away in February from cancer. She had a 2-year-old daughter who went into the custody of her mom after she passed away, who I'll call Alexis. Last month Alexis showed up on our doorstep unannounced, telling my husband he needs to take responsibility for his child and either take custody or start finally paying child support. She says that Alice had told her when her daughter was born who the father was, but didn't want anything to do with him. To answer the inevitable, Alice was a traveling nurse and made a lot of money, which is the only reason I can think of for why she didn't go for child support. During this conversation my husband had the worst panic attack he's ever had, so we had to end the conversation before I could get more details. My husband's story is, I don't even know he said that Alice's daughter is probably his, but that it isn't what I think. Almost 3 years ago we threw a large housewarming party as we just moved into our dream home, after I finally finished residency and was set to make real money for once. Alice was in town, and set to be at the party, but I was called into work before she got there. I didn't get back till after 3 a.m, party was winding down, my husband was passed out upstairs, and Alice had already left the party, which at the time I did find strange as we hadn't seen each other in months. My husband claims he woke up in the middle of the night to Alice on top of him, but he passed out again before he could say anything. He claims he never told me because he was worried I wouldn't believe him, which I don't know if I do. He showed me some texts he sent his best friend the next day asking for his advice about him thinking someone raped him, but if he cheated he could have had that conversation as evidence, especially since he never said Alice specifically. Ever since the party he has been very distant with Alice, and after she had her daughter he would even find excuses not to be around the house when she would visit at all. I don't know if that's because he cheated, or if Alice did actually rape him and this was his trauma response. Honestly, I don't know what to do. I've known Alice since we were children and she had never come across as that kind of person. But I've also known my husband for over a decade and he's not once ever given the inclination of a cheater. He's an attractive guy and I've seen the looks he gets at the gym and he's never even given more than a glance. What the hell should I do? How do I figure out what the truth is here when Alice isn't even around to defend herself? She never even implied she liked my husband, let alone want to sleep with him. I told my husband he needs to get a DNA test before anything is decided on the child's part, but in the meantime he needs to move out while I think about what I'm going to do here. Additional info, Oop responds to Alice's behaviors when visiting her at home and if Alice would tell her about the affair. Oop, not that I noticed. She'd always been at least a little standoffish towards him as she thought I could do better. The first time she visited after she gave birth, she asked where he was since he wasn't home, for the first time, but she never asked again after that. I hadn't thought about that actually, thank you. That's a good point. She always thought I could do better than him, so if it was an affair you'd think she would have told me on her deathbed at least. Oop, on if her husband drinks or not. Oop, not at all. He rarely drinks, and generally only at parties which at our ages are few and far between. He works a tough and stressful job, so I figured once he was buzzed he laid down and fell asleep, not that he had drank more than normal or anything like that. Did Alice ever name the father of her baby? Oop, she told me it was a man she met while in another state for work. Short-term fling. Willicious, wait, I get that you need to process all this, but you've told the potential victim of sexual assault that he needs to leave his home, his safe place, and you, his safe person. I think you've jumped the gun a bit here and shunned your life mate who may have been raped. Oop, yes, I'm starting to realize I've made a terrible mistake. Update, August 12, 2024. After talking with you, I've come to the realization that my husband is being truthful. My best friend raped him. Several people pointed out that with Alice not liking my husband, if it was an affair, she would have told me when she was dying, if only to separate us. You're absolutely right. I was there, in the room while she passed. I held her hands for days, we talked about so much. If it was just an affair, she would have told me. But if she raped my husband, she wouldn't have said a word. That's the type of thing horrible people take to the grave. I've also come to the realization that I made a terrible mistake asking my husband to leave for a few days while I gather my thoughts. Not to make excuses, but losing my best friend to cancer, a long cancer fight at that, was brutal. To say that I was devastated wouldn't do it justice. That it happened only 6 months ago, I'm still feeling it every day. So to have this thrown on me? It's like I'm losing her all over again. Either she betrayed me, and fucked my husband. Or she betrayed me and raped my husband. Not only have I lost her, but now I've lost the good memories, an entire lifetime's worth. It was impossible for me to look at him and not also see her, and be struck with the horror and realization of that loss all over again. I felt I needed to be able to break down, grieve, and think without the fresh wave of loss I got every time I saw him. It was wrong of me to ask him to leave, you're right though, and as of a few minutes ago I've righted this wrong. I called my husband, I apologized, told him I believe him, and begged him to come home. He'll be here in half an hour at most, and I'm going to support my husband the way I know he would have supported me. I've been an off and on Reddit user for several years, and sometimes the advice given like these can be a bit hit or miss, but today you guys did good. You've helped me realize not only that I was wrong, and being stupid at that, but that I was hurting the person that needed me the most. I was selfish. I have no idea what we're going to do as far as the potential daughter is concerned, but I can assure you we'll deal with it together. It's going to take a lot of time, and probably a lot of therapy, to grieve this new loss. I feel numb now, as though I'll never cry again. My best friend raped my husband, which means she was no friend of mine. She flaunted it, coming to my house, sitting with me, and gabbing. She brought her child here, trying to rub it in his face, right in front of me. She tortured the man I loved, and I was an unknowing party to it. I feel sick to my stomach over how many times she came over, just to hold it over him. I'm honestly at a loss on how to make that up to him. If you all have any ideas, please feel free to give them to me. I think I'll need all the help I can get. Tomorrow I'm going to take a leave of absence from work, just until we can figure out our next steps, and we can get our heads on straight. Thank you everyone.